Sure.
now. So since our last session, how have things been going?
Interesting. My rating tanked. Like I went from 1700 to like
Mm,
1200. The games in 1200 are immensely hard
mm,
to carry. I don't know why. It's so strange, but I am learning quite a bit. So like what I've learned is I feel like you really have to have two characters that you can carry with because
mhm,
you're going to run into situations where, a lot of situations where, okay, this person only plays Moira
yeah,
and they can't flex. And then if you play Moira, you put them in a role that they don't know how to play.
mhm,
So what I found was I can carry pretty well with Moira. I just get kind of bored. And then I've been trying to carry with Anna. It's a lot harder to carry with Anna than it is
mhm,
with Moira, in my opinion.
mhm, yeah, especially at a lower rank. That is very true because it's Anna's much higher skill requirement than Moira like has.
Yeah. The thing I'm learning too with Anna is like, so what I've learned is like, if you're like on Nubani on the high ground, nobody's challenging you, you can just make plays all day. But what happens is you'll encounter counter plays. You'll encounter like
Mm,
counter characters, and you'll have to, in order to get value, what you have to learn is how to shut those specific players and play styles down
mhm,
and do your job. So
yeah.
I actually, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's two different play styles between Moira and Ana. Like Moira avoids them. Ana can contest them or avoid them. It's really you just have to learn how to like play around it, and it's a much higher skill ceiling than Moira, where like it requires a lot of understanding of how your kit works, and you need to have a lot of mechanics when you play Ana in comparison to Moira, and that's why Ana's favored a lot higher at higher ranks. Because they can get away with like a dodging out like dives and whatnot because they understand the game and positioning and they can hit like skill shots with mechanics.
Yeah, it's very mechanically heavy, which actually makes me lean towards like, is there an easier support character to learn? Because I've been putting in a lot of time in, but what I realize is you really have to get good mechanically. You also like, I feel like it's not really like a smooth sailing kind of character. It's like constantly, I don't know if this is all supports, but you have to constantly be looking everywhere.
No, yeah, that's with everything. So that's just awareness, right? You always have to look everywhere to understand what's happening in the game. Because if you don't know what's happening in the game, you can't make decisions effectively.
Yeah.
So is Zen the second one you're trying to pick up?
Yeah, I was interested in playing Zen because my friend mentioned that, okay, if you want to get out of bronze, you just like pick Zen and frag out, and it's kind of true, like in my experience. So I've been playing a little bit of Zen, um, just because it's much easier to make an impact on the game if you can really just frag. If you can get a limbs as a support
Mhm.
in my
Which
elo, yeah.
Yeah, which Mora has kind of the same deal with her, is she can do like the same thing and get frags and elims, just like a Zen can. So yeah, that it is much easier to do that as a support at a lower rank and climb. I agree, but that's also gonna find that that playstyle doesn't translate very well the higher you do climb, and
Yeah, for sure. Oh, go ahead.
and then at the same time you can also climb by learning the correct playstyle to play them, even if you're so basically like what I'm saying is that the frag playstyle where you're only playing for kills or mainly playing for kills and elims, right?
Yeah.
That is a playstyle that does work at that rank, especially if you're like with Zenyatta, you're always gonna be playing like that. But um the higher and higher you go, like you can't get away with bad decisions like that. And so it's you're also going to be able to climb if you are like playing with the correct play style. Well, in any case, we've been talking about this for a little while. Why don't we get into the game?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's so much easier to like when I duo with my friend who's I think he's a plat DPS.
Hmm.
We're in like 2000 level games, but it's so easy. We just go on winning streaks. It's so much easier to win with him. But I'm playing really well too, like
Is he
on
smurfing
Moira.
or is he able to play with you at the like on his main?
Yeah, no, that's his. He'll be in like mid gold. I'll be in like low bronze, like
Mm.
1400, 2400.
So you're able to play with each other. All right.
Yeah, yeah, we're within 1,000. But we'll be playing like I don't get it. Like the game makes so much more sense in the 2000s. Um, and it's much easier to win games than it is in bronze. Bronze is just it's weird.
All right. So first off, what I'm seeing is that we're shooting way too slow. So
Hmm.
you're tap firing when you should be holding down your firing, right? With Zenyatta, very rarely you're just gonna like tap fire. You want to be holding this down because there's a faster fire rate, and therefore you're gonna be doing more damage. Okay, so we're tapping this and it's going out very slowly, and now you're seeing you're actually holding it down, so you're doing a lot more with it.
Yeah, I was trying to hit the Junkrat.
Hmm. Okay. So I think previously we haven't gone over this because we've never really gone over characters that require aim, right? We've done Ana though before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've never gone over like a character that can hit headshots. So right now we're with Ana. Do we go over crosshair placement?
You're just pre-aiming,
Yeah.
anticipating.
So with Zenyatta, so crosshair placement is going to be like that for other characters too. But now what we're adding in is we're adding in making sure we're aiming head level. So we're going throughout our game, we're aiming here, and then what that's going to do for us is that instead of doing this, or while we're doing that, we could be doing that, right? So if we're hitting those
Yeah.
headshots, it means we're 3-shotting versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-shotting, right? So it's a lot more damage. So we're going to be killing things a lot faster if we are hitting those headshots. So we want to be making sure that we're aiming head level because that means that every natural shot we're shooting, like we're spamming down a corridor, every shot we're hitting is just going to be head level shots. Okay, and they're going to be headshots. But then also on top of that, it means there's a lot less adjustment for when we have to shoot at people. So we're aiming someone on the left. Okay, it's a lot easier to just go to the left and go to the right than if we're having to go up and to the left, up and to the right, because that's a lot more distance that we have to travel. Okay,
Oh yeah.
so we want to aim head level at the top right here. Wait for him to come around the corner. Okay. We know where he's coming from. We know where he's on the left, so we're aiming head level at the doorway. We're anticipating still, right? We're waiting for him to come around the corner. We're pre-aiming, but then we're there's very little adjustment because we already have our crosshair at the head level there. Right? We come down here. We know head level's down a little bit, so we're aiming head level here. Okay. Bot's top right now, so we're coming up here, looking right side already. Right. So
Uh, yeah, I was practicing this when I was playing DPS. You know something too, about
mm,
pre-aiming? I have this aim trainer that's like AI in
yeah.
a custom workshop game, and you 1v1 characters. With a character like when I'm playing Ana, I spend a lot of time like 1v1 Genji with Ana, Lucio.
Mhm.
So like Lucio, he moves way too fast for you to try and like track or predict.
Mhm.
So it's almost like I wonder if this is the correct way to do it, but to get the most consistent shots, you have to kind of Hanzo him. You set it to the left and wait for him to skate into it, and then boom.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can that's yeah. Just pre-aim it, like, and just aim in front, predict where he's going, and aim in front of him, and then just shoot him when he goes there. That's one way to go about it. But then also, when someone's moving fast, you can swap up your aim style to where you're flicking, right? Flicking is going. You're gonna want to be using flicking when somebody's moving fast. So a Lucio, Tracer, dive characters when they're moving super fast around, you're gonna have to make your crosshair move faster too. When somebody's very close to you, you can flick. When somebody just appeared on your screen, so let's say like top left here, the diva, we can flick up to her because she just appeared on our screen, and we're kind of trying to acquire the target on her very fast. So we just need to we can swap up our aim style so that we're flicking when we need to flick and not flicking when we don't need to flick. Right, so here we're shooting very little, and then we're gonna see that when we do shoot, we're tapping it, right? And then we're gonna see in a moment here that our shots are aiming body level here, right?
Now with
Mhm,
we talked about spam fire.
mhm,
I noticed when I like go brain dead and I'm just like chick 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 and I'm firing at
mhm.
full speed, I'm missing a ton of my shots. That's why I'm doing it slowly
Well,
so I can
so
hit.
the goal is to be the goal is always to hit. Sorry, my brother's coughing in the background. The goal is to always be hitting more shots, right? Like, okay, so if we're thinking like this, at a professional level, is a professional player like Jonak, right? Jonak's like the best. He was MVP, Overwatch League player, best Zenyatta in the world, right? Is he going to be tap firing with his left click, or is he going to be holding it in?
I think he's going to be holding it, but I
Yes,
think yeah,
because he
yeah.
can keep up with it, and he knows how to play at that speed. So if we're trying
Okay.
to keep it at a tap fire, then we're almost getting used to playing slower. We want to be getting used to playing faster, not trying to. We don't want to practice playing slow. We want to practice playing fast, right? Because if we're trying to practice tap firing, then we're going to be doing a lot less. Whereas we're holding it down, we're going to be doing a lot more damage faster, right? So we want to get used to doing it, holding it down, right? But we still want to be aiming each shot. So we just want to make sure that you're concentrating on your shots and you're trying to land each shot.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at where our crosshairs at here. So right below his head, at his feet, right. Okay, right here below head at his legs. Okay, so even when we hit these shots here, you can see both of these shots are hitting body. Right, Reinhardt looking at his butt. All right, so these shots are all gonna be doing. Now we're aiming a little bit higher. Now we're aiming pretty much almost head level here. Okay, so keep spamming on left click. So right clicks want to be used when there's any delays or when you can't see people. So if you are walking into a fight, you can right click. If you're backing out of a fight, you can right click. If you are like turning a corner. So like let's say for example like you're in here and you're charging up right click while you're turning the corner, then you can turn this corner and do a burst damage. But if you already see people, your left click is gonna do more like a faster output of damage, right? So when when you're in a fight like this, you want to just be holding down your left click so that you can be shooting at people and doing a ton of damage rather than trying to charge up that right click. Okay, so we want to think about like on the enemy team, what ultimates on their team do we want to use trance for?
Yeah. And in this case, I don't think you can trans tire or diva bomb. So really, it just came down to like shatter, coal. I don't
So
think you can trans high noon either.
yep. So high noon, you cannot. It'll so with you cannot trance is high output of healing. It does not make you invincible. So with burst damage that can one shot people, yes, you're correct. It will not do anything. So you do not unless you're just using it to save yourself. You trancing tires not going to do anything to save your team. You trancing bombs not going to do anything to save your team. You trancing high noon's not going to do anything to save your team. Okay, um, so now you're just left with coal, essence, and shatter, right? And really the big one you want to watch out for is the shatter. But besides that, you just want to use trans. Like they don't have anything big ultimate combos, right? They don't have like a nano blade.
Yeah,
They don't have they don't have a grav. They don't have anything big that you're gonna need to hold on to your ult for. So
yeah,
instead, we're gonna use our ult whenever we just see that our team needs it, right? Or if they land the big shatter, we can also use it for that. But besides that, we're just going to use trans pretty reactionary because we know that we're looking at their team comp and we see that there's nothing we have to hold on to trans for.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's interesting because, like, with Nano too, you can have compositions where there's just no good Nano
Mm.
target. I mean, it's like Hog is the best target, and that's not really
Well, nano when his hog is a whole hog, that's a very good nano target.
okay.
And there's also there's specific. Really, when you're at the start of the game, you want to be thinking about who is the best target to nano, so that you have a nano priority list in your head, so you can be thinking about who's going to be the best person, right? So that we don't have to think about that mid game. So, if we're nanoing people, right, we can be thinking. Let's say if we're working with our team, right, we'd be looking at our team and we'd be going, okay. Pharah is a fantastic nano target, so we're nanoing Pharah when she has Barrage or whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she'd be the best target to nano, and then second best would be nano Whole Hog if Hog has Hizzle, right? So we'd be putting priorities in our minds, so we'd be thinking about that.
It's you know what I'm curious too because we've run into situations where your DPS is like Hanzo. It's just people that you don't
Mm-hmm.
nano. You're
Yep.
not going to get a lot of value. Let's say Hog's not in the fight, so there's not really. I mean, you're going to get mediocre nanos. Do you just save it to save someone, save a tank or something?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, using it on tanks is going to get a lot of value. Tanks have very consistent damage, and most tanks in the game are going to be pretty decent with a nano. Um,
Okay.
So you just have to pick out the best person on your team and then look for a situation to use it. So yeah, Hanzo's not going to be a great nano target, and Hog might not be in the fight. So what's your other tank looking like, right? Is your other tank a like a probably there's only a few tanks that aren't good nano targets, and most of them are going to be good nano targets because they will benefit a ton, even if they're not going to benefit from the damage amp. They're going to benefit from the reduced damage and the healing, burst healing. So they're going to get a lot of value
Yeah.
out of that end. Okay. Zenyatta, we need to be spamming a lot more and just get a whole bunch of spam damage in. Because,
So real no downtime kind of
yeah,
thing, just
not
spamming with this guy.
that's gonna be with most characters in the game. There's not gonna be really downtime on any character in Overwatch. If you're having downtime, that's comes down to what's called actions per minute. And the lower SR you go, you'll find that they do less in the same amount of time as a higher ranked player does, right? They just do more things. So on most characters, you don't want to have downtime because in that downtime you could be doing something else. So on Zenyatta, for example, Zenyatta does not have a ton of burst, or he doesn't have a ton of healing, right? The Zenyatta, besides his Transcendence, his regular orb doesn't do a whole lot. So if we're
Yeah.
not doing damage, then there's no reason to be on Zenyatta when you could be on another character that does do more healing, right? So we always want to be just spamming down corridors, right? Or charging up right clicks so that we can shoot people when we come around corners. We always just want to be shooting at all times because that's gonna be getting us a ton of value. Or we can be just spamming down corridors for even the chance to kill somebody, right? So if we don't see anybody here, right? We could just be charging up right clicks so that when we come around this corner, we could just have the chance to kill somebody and get a chance to get a pick or damage, and we can get our ult charge off of it, right? So
Yeah.
whenever we can't see somebody, so let's say these people aren't here, right? We're just turning this corner here, right? When we don't see somebody, we're just charging up right click, right? We turn this corner.
Okay.
Now we see people. Now we're just left clicking, right? Now we're left clicking into the fight. Now let's say they shoot at us, so we're low, so we're stacking around the corner to get healed, and we're charging up right click, and we peek, and we duck back here. We charge up right click, we peek, right? So we want to charge up right clicks whenever we are outside. We can't see somebody, and then we can see somebody. We're left clicking, right?
Okay.
Okay, and then
Okay.
with our left click, we're going to be a little bit more flicky, and we're looking for each individual shot. So we're aiming each shot here, right? Whereas
Yeah,
our
that's
right
what I was
click,
wondering.
With our right click, we're trying to aim a bunch of shots right after the other. So we're swapping to a tracking, um, aim style, right? So we're trying to move with their body, right? So that we're hitting every shot here, right? So we're following them as they go, right? So
Yeah.
good. Oh,
It's like the echo. It's like the echo spray.
yep. And as you're going here, you're also making sure that you're aiming ahead of them because your shots aren't going to be instantaneous, right? If we're look at this person, I'm going to keep my crosshair directly on top of them, right? It's not hitting them because
Yeah.
it's a projectile, so we want to make sure that we're aiming ahead of them. Okay, so these shots are hitting, so we're aiming in front of them. Okay, so these shots are going in front of them, but when they're right next to us, we don't have to do that anymore. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we're always shooting at all times, or we're charging up a right click, because we're always going to want to be doing damage on Zen.
Yeah, another random thing I noticed too when I was playing Ana was in order to carry as Ana, you have to have line of sight on both your team and
Mm-hmm.
their team because you have to be getting the limbs just in bronze. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to both keep your team up and get picks, uh, get picks on their team same time.
Uh-huh. Which
So you
can
have to have. Oh, go ahead.
which can also be done just by like you can basically get that carrying potential with getting picks through also just getting big fat nades off, which that's going to be doing a whole lot too to get kills.
That's interesting too because I'll get like you know, four-man nades consistently. I'll be playing a game and I'll just nade and get, you know, three people, two tanks. They don't know what to do with it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I wonder how to get a better nade. I feel like it's kind of like shatter. You don't shatter unless you have follow up, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, you don't want to
So
just
how?
toss in. So let's like you don't want to toss in a nade if your team can't follow up on it, right?
Yeah,
You nade when you see that your team's within range of it. Okay, because if they can like if you're tossing a nade, if the fight hasn't even started yet and you just toss in a nade, then it's not going to get as much value as if you get a nade mid fight when your team's already like on top of them, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I'll be out of bronze. I mean, when I duo with my friend, we go on like just win streaks. It's just for
Mm,
some reason when I play alone, it's really, really hard to carry. And I'll still like when I'm playing with him and when I'm playing alone, I'll get ridiculous uh KDs. I'll be playing Moira and I'll have like a 30 to 2 KD. So I know I'm
mm.
having impact and I'm not dying, but it's just like you don't win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which playing alone versus playing with a teammate is always, or playing with a group mate, right? That's always gonna be a different kind of play style. You're gonna be playing differently in both those scenarios because you have now somebody who you can rely on. Plus, you're playing in a different rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this fight, right, we have two people alive, not worth transcendencing because we already lost. Okay, they have one, two, three, four, five people alive, so it's a 5v2. That means we lost the fight. If you recall previously, we've discussed right how to watch a kill feed, how to know this. So if we see in kill feed that we already down this many people, this transcendence is just wasted because this
Yeah.
fight's already a lost fight.
Yeah, I've been getting lazy with that. You know, it's especially too
Mm-hmm.
with Ana and Zen, they're especially sensitive to this fundamental do not walk into a lost fight,
Mm-hmm.
don't use abilities in a lost fight or ult. Because like positioning, I feel like because they move so slowly, you're punished harder for positioning mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Zenyatta and Ana have because they rely heavily on positioning. Because if you don't have good positioning, then you're not like they don't have any mobility to get away from that bad positioning. Okay, so
Yeah.
here, right, we apply this Discord super late on the diva. Uh, really, as soon as you start shooting at somebody, Discord should be applied. Right, you can apply Discord while you're shooting, just in case you weren't aware of that. Um,
Yeah, the is it I've got it on my mouse wheel. It's primary fire Discord.
primary wait, so your primary fire does Discord too? Wait.
No, it's the mouse wheel. So I'll primary fire the mouse wheel.
Okay, well, I somebody else just said this the other day, but either you need to figure out a system to where you can do both of those at once, or you need to swap it to another setting because if you watch like me in the training range here and just
Yeah.
watch while I'm shooting here, you can apply Discord while you're shooting, okay? And I can do both at the same time just by spamming it, right? Okay, I can do this
What
both at the same
what
time.
What buttons do you have Discord on?
You can see it on the bottom right. I have mine. I have my Discord on E and my healing on Shift. That's the standard buttons that you use.
Okay.
Okay, so um, if you're not able to press both of them at once, that's gonna be a big disadvantage because then you're gonna be applying it much slower, right? As soon as you shoot at
Yeah.
somebody, you should basically be like, "Oh, there's a person." Flick Discord, Discord, right? We want to be Discording as soon as we start shooting at them, right? So that we can get that extra damage buff because Discord's gonna be doing a ton of a ton to help us with our damage, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Discord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Discord. 1, 2. Right, we're doing a lot more damage, and we're gonna be killing things a lot faster if we're just instantly applying Discord when we're shooting at them.
Okay. Yeah, my reaction time and speed is very slow. I'm observing.
Yep, you just gotta make sure that you're just getting into. It's really a habit thing. You want to make sure that's a habit so that you're instantly discording something as soon as you start looking at it. Right. Like you always, just like you should always be shooting at something. The other thing is you always want to have your orbs on something, because you don't need like as soon as you put an orb on something, you don't need to worry about it anymore, right? If your orb's on something, then the most you're going to be doing is just swapping it around. You don't need to worry about it at all because you're not like unlike Ana, unlike Mora, unlike like Baptiste, you don't need to be continuously healing. It does it for you. So really, you just want to make sure that you place it on something and that you're not going extended periods of time without your orbs on anything. So we can watch your orbs and see like, are we consistently putting it on things, right? As we turn this corner, we probably want to place it on our Ash here, right? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. We place it on the Junkrat. Okay, so it's looking pretty good so far. Right now, we just want to be just like, what we can do is if we see everyone's on cart, we just like peek forward here and just start charging up right clicks and firing it down corridors and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't charge. I could have.
Mhm.
I'm not firing. I'm just
Yep.
chilling for some reason.
Not firing when we could be doing shield damage. So when if we're just spamming firing here, we're getting shield damage in. We're getting damage if Reinhardt dropped his shield, and that means we're getting ult charge, and that means that things are going to be dying faster on the enemy team, right? I mean the potential to get kills. Okay. On top of that, we don't have any orbs on anything, so we constantly want to have an orb on healing, and we constantly want to have an orb on damaging. Keep in mind that Zenyatta, in case you weren't aware of this, your orbs will disappear off of people if you don't have line of sight on them for 3 seconds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you want to keep a very close eye on your bottom right and just see do I have orbs on things, right? Because we need to be reapplying this so that we're not going half of the fight without having an orb on something. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
we
Just
applied it.
been.
Good.
Yeah. I was being pretty lazy in this game. I didn't realize I'd be using it as a replay.
You're good.
But when I was playing comp with Zen, that's what I was doing. And in fact, there's like this priority list of people to orb and discord, and you try to keep those at
Mm-hmm.
the same time. No downtime, basically.
Yep. Okay, so here, look at our aim. Make sure that we're aiming in front of him, not behind him. Right, we're tracking very slow, and we're aiming behind him here instead of aiming in front of him. Right, that's not how projectiles work. Remember, we're trying to aim ahead of him, and then once we do, look, we get the kill here. So that was really good. We adjusted our aim, but it just we wanted to have this from the beginning, right? You can see it here as we go through, right? We're aiming behind him. We're tracking him from behind, right? Tracking from behind.
Range, yeah.
Yep.
My brain is like so slow to react.
And then here, now we adjust and we aim in front of him, right? And then now we start hitting these shots. See?
Yeah.
And we also are aiming head level there, so that's pretty good. Good usage of cover and good reaction times there. Fantastic. That'd be a time where you're like charging up a right click though, right? So you can just do real quick if you want to, right? You can peek out real quick and right click him in the head, or maybe after he's done and he shoots, right? You can peek real quick and fire it at him, or even if
If
you're just
you
good.
if you peek this, if you charge up a right click, he's still in high noon, and you
Mhm.
peek, can you end up dead? Is high noon instant, or does it? I thought it took a second to like acquire you.
Is it a so High Noon? He probably already acquired you before you turn the corner. So look, if we watch this from his perspective,
Yeah.
um, Do you see the red skull on Orissa's head?
Yeah.
That means that he's able to kill her. You see it on the ash here? You're gonna see that
Yeah.
this circle slowly closes in and then turns red. Okay? So if you're red, then he's able to kill you. If not, then he's not able to kill you. Right? So he turns this corner here, right? He charges this up while we're trying to turn the corner here. He could have killed us for half a second there, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay? So he when we re-peek this corner, he would be able to kill us. Yes, but what we could
Oh,
do.
because he's already
Mhm.
acquired me. Oh,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Mhm. Yep. But what we could be doing in this time is charging it up so that we could shoot him after he comes out of this. Or the other
Yeah.
thing is that we still have line of sight on the people in the front line, right? In the fight over here. So we just want to again don't want to have random downtime here when we could still be firing, putting on discords on stuff, you know, doing damage instead of AFKing there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, with all the work I did learning how to use cover, I haven't been hit with a diva bomb in like
Mhm.
I can't even tell you when.
Yep, and it's great. Like Diva Bomb and High Noon and those types of ultimates are really good tests of if you're using cover correctly. And so it's really
Yeah.
great when you can dodge this out. Right now I'd probably say like the biggest so you're doing really great on positioning so far. Probably say the biggest thing that it seems like you need work on is your actions per minute. Meaning that you want to be doing like you want to be making sure that you're never having downtime, that you're always doing something. You're always shooting, you always have orbs on something, you're always looking for something to
Yeah.
do, and you're not AFKing in spots, you're not charging, you're not shooting in certain areas. You want to make sure that you have orbs on things, right? So we want to make sure that we're just constantly doing something. And then besides that, we also um want to make sure that we are like doing we've also talked about like left click and right click usage and how to use each both of those correctly. But besides that, like trance, we've used trance once, so I haven't had much time to look at that. And then your orbs don't seem to be terrible. We seem to be good at getting good orbs on the people who need it.
Charging up a right click here. Peak.
Yep. Okay, it's decent usage.
Yeah, the hogs they always ult when they're critical. It's like, dude, you're gonna die.
Yeah, but that's decent usage because you can get aggressive with it. You start getting picks with it. Nice cover usage and hiding from it. Yep, you're doing really great on the positioning so far.
Oh yeah, my tracking isn't. It's
Yep.
always behind them.
Mechanics, I'd probably say needs a little bit of work, right? Practice that in the training range if you need to, just to get used to. Since you're new to Zenyatta, that's good to just practice him in the training range and just get used to how his guns work. Remember, we're aiming ahead of them with our left clicks. We can be a little bit more flicky. With our right clicks, we're trying to be tracky. All right. Discord the targets you're shooting at. We're also standing still for very long extended periods of time, and much better players are going to see that, and basically they're going to be able to punish it a lot faster and easier. So we want to get out of that habit now, so that we're not getting punished for that when we're up in, let's say, we just get the gold or platinum, right? And they're going to have more awareness, so they're going to be seeing us there, and they're going to shoot at us, and they're going to kill us, and then we're going to be like, huh, what happened? That didn't happen when I was in bronze, right? But we want to catch these mistakes right now, even while they're not getting punished, so that we don't have those same mistakes back when we get into platinum. Because that's gonna be a big thing. Is you would have died there like 10 times faster if we were at any other rank. Because we're standing still for like 10 seconds straight, right?
Yeah.
Standing still, standing still. Oh, we move. Okay, standing still, standing still. Right, then back up a little bit, back up a little bit, and then we get standing still, right, and then we get headshot for it. So we did get punished for that. But we also would have been punished for that much faster in a higher rank. So we want to make sure that we're always adding in like strafing. Right? We're always moving so that it's always harder to hit us.
Yeah, and when we play, 2200 level games, it's interesting because I'll be like, oh shit, the widow can actually hit me, and then I have to actually adjust my playstyle. I'm like, it like throws me off because I'm like, oh crap, yeah, I can't peek anymore. I can't peek. Period. She's gonna
Yeah.
pick me if I do.
Mhm.
But that's what I realized too. In like in bronze, you can just walk out in the open, like nobody gives a fuck. Like,
Uh-huh. Yep.
you could be in the center of their team and just hanging out for a few seconds.
Yeah, but the difference is though that it's still it's still a mistake, right? It's still a bad play. Yet
Yeah.
in that rank, it's not punished because they don't understand how to stop you from doing that bad play, right? But if you get up to a rank where they're able to punish it, then you're gonna have all those bad habits, and they're gonna be able to punish those bad habits because you haven't fixed them yet. So even if you're in bronze, you still need to learn good positioning, and you still need to learn good strafing habits and good tech and stuff like that, right? All these things need to be fixed, even though they might not be directly useful in bronze.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really interesting too. Like I've really reduced the game down to like learning the counter play styles because it's kind of like again it's like math. It's like in a vacuum you can make all the plays and do all the right things, but when they start applying a certain kind of pressure, you have to know how to respond to that pressure.
Yep, it's all situational. Yep,
It's what were you gonna say?
yeah, I was just gonna say that very rarely is there any rule in Overwatch that stands in all situations. Overwatch is very situational, and you're always gonna be making different decisions based on different things that are happening.
There's definitely I've observed there's definitely themes. Like I've gotten really good at shutting down Reaper as Ana. You know, the moment that I see him on
Mhm.
the character screen, I'm like, okay, I have to like play back, wait for him to fucking pop up. Oh, there he is, big surprise. Sleep, nade, dead. Okay, wait for him to ult, got him. I haven't mastered yet shutting down like Genjis or tracers yet, so I'm
Mhm.
still working on that.
Yep, which that comes with just more time and especially the mechanics. Mechanics also seems to be a weak point for you,
Yeah.
and making sure that you're hitting shots, especially on a character like Zenyatta. So that comes with time, right? If you're on like the more you play, the better you'll get with it. Especially since in the past you play a lot of Moira, right? That's been the main one we've gone
Yeah.
over in the past. Moira not being a very mechanically demanding hero means that you never had to learn mechanics in the past. So it's something that's new to you. And I started off on Mercy. I understand the process of learning how to mechanic. So the more time you dedicate to it, the better you'll get at it. You can practice it in to like when you're just starting off with a new character like Zenyatta, you can start in the training range, then you can practice it in ranked. You can practice it in free for all. Just you have to keep playing, keep getting used to it, and most games will transfer into each other with the standard crosshair placement. In
Yeah.
how to know how to aim, right? So even if you're playing other games, that can still be helpful in learning how to aim because you're understanding how to aim in that game, which transfers over because aim is pretty much the same in a lot of different games.
You know, it's weird too. Ever since we've been working, and I guess I don't know if it's my positioning, but DPS is so easy now to play, and like
Hmm.
my DPS is probably somewhere in plat now
Hmm.
because I'll be playing, you know, 2,400 games with my friends, and
Yeah.
I'll be, you know, 12-1 on tour. It's just like ridiculous.
Mhm. Yep, and yeah, did like all of these, or not all of them, but when you're understanding the game better, that applies to a lot of different characters too, right? Positioning tips will apply to every character in the game. Crosshair placement will apply to many characters. Ability usage will apply to a lot of different characters. Ult, like how knowing when the fight's won or lost, like a lot of this general game sense stuff applies throughout all the different roles. So getting better at one role means that you're also getting better at these other roles too.
Yeah,
Here, position a little bit further back. We're sitting right on cart when we don't need to, right? And that just puts us in a
yeah,
pretty risky spot, right? We probably want to be further on the in the back line, and then here we're also pushing further into their spawn. This is just gonna mean that we're gonna be very easy to kill, whereas we could be sitting
yeah.
back further, right? We can position rather than sitting on a cart where that's where they have to go. We could be where Bob's at. We can climb up here, right? We can be on the right side here. We can be coming up to this high ground if we wanted to, right? We can sit on this little platform, right? We could be really anywhere along this right side or this back line, but we don't want to really be on the cart because that's the one place that they have to go to contest point.
And to that point too,
Mhm,
I feel like it's fairly with Moira too a lot when using her fade. Like you said, when you kite, you have to, especially if you're getting dope, you have to kite towards a teammate.
mhm,
If you start to kite away and someone's diving you, you're isolating yourself.
mhm,
And I think that happens a lot with Ana too. If someone dives me, I, for some reason, I have the tendency to kite away from my team, but I need to like start.
mhm.
You take the duel, but you gradually move towards your team, right?
Yep. And if possible, you should be putting yourself in a position, especially when they're on a dive or something like that, where they're like get able to get on top of you super easily. Then you should be in a position to where you're near your team or you're able to get to your team at a moment's notice. Because when you're playing up against a dive, you're changing your play style and your positioning so that you're playing next to your team, so that instead of running towards your team, you're already with your team.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been using that. That's been really helpful to counter the dive playstyle. As soon as I see dive, I'm like, all right, if I'm Ana, I gotta stay with my team. I
Mhm.
can't get isolated.
I
If
mean,
I
that's
get picked mid fight and I'm walking back to the point, that's another dangerous thing.
mhm. Yep,
Usually I'll wait for a teammate.
yeah, it's gonna be the same thing with like Zenyatta too, where like or most supports, right? You're gonna want to apply that same principle to Zenyatta. If they're on dive, play with your team more, right?
Yeah.
Here we are getting very very far ahead of ourselves. Even if we get a pick here, that does not matter at all because we're not gonna be able to solo push the cart, and the most we have here is like our echo, and that's it, right? Where's the rest of our team at?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this happens a lot to me. Like I think because I think, oh, our team is all moving in, and then I look back and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead.
right, which that means that we want to be checking that when we're back here, right? So we're back
Yeah.
here, and we turn around and we go, oh, wait, where's my D mat? What? Oh, wait, I do a quick 360. I don't see him through the walls. I press tab. They're still dead, right? We're down half our team. Don't push forward, right? So we want to just be paying attention. This is an awareness thing, and when we're lacking in awareness, we want to make sure that we're looking around this more, right? Pressing tab, looking at kill feed, right? We're not just kind of holding W and not thinking. We want to be thinking, and then we can be making better decisions. When we have more information, we can make better decisions, right? So, because this is a pretty poor decision, because we're not gonna be able to
Yeah.
do anything, even if we even if we get picks here.
Yeah, that happens a lot too in bronze is like my expectations for, like a gold game or a silver game. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got a pick, we got two picks, we're all moving in. And I look back and I'm like, oh God,
Which that
I'm
same
alone
thing's gonna
now.
happen even up until you get to Grandmaster level. It's just a skill that you need to acquire to understand where my team's at, right? Like even at
Yeah.
Grandmaster's level, teams are still not gonna be grouped up, but you need to like it's a team effort to make sure that you're grouped up, and that means that it's your fault here that you're not grouped up with your team because you didn't wait on them, and that meant that you die, and then you're gonna be coming. This is a stagger. You're gonna be coming out super late while they're pushing in. Look at where they're at, right? They're already using ults in there, right? And we're nowhere near that.
That's what I feel like with this. When you stagger as Ana or Zen, I feel like you get punished twice as long in terms of downtime
Mhm.
than, someone like Lucio,
Yeah.
Moira, or
Mhm.
I feel like it's twice as important to not stagger with
Not
these
necessarily
guys.
twice because it's like the difference between because you have both of you guys have a 10-second death timer, and then it takes you as Zenyatta might take you 10 seconds to get back to the fight. Let's see how much time does it take you to walk back here. Plus, I want to go left side. Going right side is faster here. But
Yeah.
let's count this out. Right. You respawn 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm
5,
taking the longest
6,
possible.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 12 seconds before we're able to start doing something, right? So we're out of that, like, and being on Lucio is just gonna make that time like 6 seconds, right? So it's only the difference between
Yeah,
like 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Right? It's not in half, but it's still important on both characters. That you're not staggering because then you're not starting a stagger train, which means that they're now pushing in when it's a 5v6 because they're down you. So you
yeah,
staggering is just a really big one that you want to make sure that you're not doing so that you're not like throwing with your team, right? Good
yeah,
shots. Your shots have been getting a little bit more consistent lately, or well at the end of this game, a little bit more
yeah,
consistent.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to be graded, or else I would have been on top of things. This is where I get screwed. I am out of position. I
Oh,
got stuck on. I got stuck on the wall. I didn't know where I was.
yeah, that was a map awareness thing. And if we knew where we were, we could have just got around the corner, charge up a right click, and then we can pop
Yeah,
her when she turns the corner.
yeah. Baby Diva is. She's pretty lethal close up. Like I feel like she has
Yep.
torb damage.
Doing a good job. We have orbs on things. We're shooting. Those stand still. Good job. We're getting around the corner. Ryan's running on top of us.
Yeah, I didn't see it in time. What do you do when you're in a game and you're keeping from staggering, but your team just keeps trickling in?
Right, that's a communication thing, and if no one's listening to you because it's bronze, right, then
Yeah,
there's nothing else you can do, right? If they're continuously walking in, you can't control that, but just know for reference, right, that same thing happens in the other team too. Which mean like in every game you get in, the enemy team's gonna be doing basically the same thing, and if you can look to punish that and do this and capitalize on it by killing them and stuff like that and continuing up their stagger train, then you're gonna be pretty even off, right? And then if you are stopping your staggering, that'll hopefully stop stagger trains, right? If we're not staggering, then that means that we're all coming out together.
that is an interesting point, which is yeah.
All right, so we have 11 minutes left. So, do you have want to just do something live here?
Sure, yeah. You know what I'd be curious too? I'd be curious to watch you play Moira and quick play and hear your thought process.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
I'd be down for that. I mean, we could also do like a if you'd like to, we can go over for example, like a professional level who's playing someone who's playing more
sure,
in a pro game, and then I
sure,
can go walk through the process that they're probably thinking.
sure. And I have a 4:30, so I'll have to get off right at
All right,
4:30.
sounds good. Give me a moment because I'm actually gonna need to find one. I've never done a Moira one. I've done this with a Lucio.
Yeah.
Oh, the only problem is that never mind. That's a new patch right now. That and the only
Wiped
one that
out
I'm
all the.
Yeah, I'm only seeing no. So no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're on a new patch of Moria where they changed her, and everything that I'm seeing here is coming from like a couple months ago. Let's see if there's anything this week. Lucio Mercy Moria player of the match, Dogman 5 days ago. Okay, maybe we can do this. All right,
You
never
know what
mind.
I'm curious too. As we do this, I'm trying to get more value. I'm trying to make sure the minimum value I get out of coalescence is higher. Because what I'm finding is like when you don't have alt synergy, like a Grav Cole,
Mm.
um, sometimes it's challenging to get value out of the
Mhm.
coalescence, and I feel like in the lower elos you have to at least get a pick or
Yeah.
really wear them. Yeah,
You wanna use it when you know that they're, like, out in the open and you're gonna be able to get value out of it. So why don't we get into a game here, right? If you
sure.
look at the stream here, you can see, um, we're just real quick, we're looking at team comps, right? We're on a full brawl comp, right? We've discussed this before. We're on brawl, so we want to be playing um pretty fast into the enemy team. They're on a spam comp. They're like on a hybrid comp right now. This is the one in ranked, so they want to be playing kind of split up. They want to be playing slow. We want to be playing fast, right? So we're looking at this team comp here. Right now, he's just tapping them out up real quick, right? He's not using too much of it, just tapping them so we can get their health back up, right? Throwing that damage orb in because right now we're rotating over to the right, so we're not actually, since we're not fighting yet, we're just trying to get the ult charge up. Tap healing, right? We're just tapping healing them so they can get up that health. Tap healing. Notice how we've done a ton of healing so far, yet we've not used really any of our resource because every time we're healing, we're just doing a little bit of a tap healing.
Yeah.
Now, just so that so I can confirm this, you are aware of what her new changes are, right?
New as in today? No.
No, not she didn't get changed today. I'm saying new as in it was like a week or two ago.
No, actually.
No? Okay, well then that's probably pretty important that we go over. I look
Sure.
at the let me open up Overwatch real quick and we can look at the patch notes for that real quick because that's pretty important that you're aware of this because this changes up her playstyle a little bit. I'm gonna stream Overwatch for you. So, this was like a week or two ago that this patch happened, whereas they nerfed a ton of different heroes in the game. We go to patch notes, we scroll down. Okay, so it's, I believe this patch. Mora, healing, lingering heal. So we've talked about this before, right? She has her heal over time effect. Reduced from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. So it used to last 4 seconds, now it only lasts 2 seconds. Total healing down from 65 to 35. Healing per second is increased, but this is her regular healing now, has increased from 65 to 70. So now with her primary fire, she does more healing, but it's less healing over time. Healing resource consumption rate is increased from 11 to 14, so it's 27%. So that means that when she is healing people, her resource runs out faster. Okay, her damage. Oh, so was I talking? I just realized that my Discord wasn't lighting up. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, hello.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, Overwatch.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Hear me now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that was pretty weird.
Yeah, I noticed Overwatch reset too.
All right. Do you so here her lingering heal has been reduced from 4 seconds to 2 seconds, so that's her
Oh
heal
shit,
over
resource
time.
consumption increased. Holy
Yep.
shit.
Resource consumption increased, but her primary healing has been upped from 65 to 70. And then for her damage, okay, her attach angle has been reduced by 37%. So
Oh
that means it's
wow.
harder to hit
Oh,
people
can
with
you
it.
hear me?
Sorry, it did it again. I swapped over to Overwatch and then it didn't. It wasn't talking. That's my bad. The but so yes, her healing goes up. Her lingering healing goes down. Her resource increase is, or her resources being consumed faster. It's harder for her to shoot because her damage angle is reduced, and then her healing resource gain is increased by 50%. So if we're looking at this just in game here, that's going to mean that when we go to Mora, when you're shooting, it's going away faster. Okay, but it's healing
Yeah.
more. When you're right clicking, it goes up way faster. You see it's going up super fast.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your damage angle, it's gonna be harder to shoot people because now it doesn't attach as much. Okay. And then what was the other ones? And then I can't remember. And then the heal over time effect has gone down, right? From 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Okay.
Interesting. I guess because I'm about to have to jump on this call.
Mhm.
Um, I guess as a final question, someone said your healing as Moira should be 10k per 10 minutes or 1k per minute,
Mhm.
which is fairly doable, but then your damage is like proportionally much lower.
Your damage should be proportionally around the same. Mora's damage and healing should be around 50-50. And honestly,
Okay.
looking at like stats wise, um, don't pay attention to stats. Like don't like you could always be doing better, and don't be trying to um analyze, am I doing good, because you're never gonna be able to be doing good enough. There's always something you could be doing better. So trying to look at stats and going, I have golds, I have 10k damage per minute, 10k healing per minute, right? That type of deal isn't the mentality you should have. Try to have the mentality of dang, I should have done this so that I could have had more healing, could have done this so I could have had more damage, right? Try to look for the self improvement rather than the am I doing enough,
Okay.
or am I doing good enough, right?
Okay.
All
Cool.
right, so I'm gonna end the recording here.